This is how close we were to an unspeakably tragic and catastrophic turn of events.
If I had not moved my head at that very last instant, the assassin's bullet would have perfectly hit its mark, and I would not be here tonight. We would not be together.
The president just moves his head at the right time. Like, the whole thing is, if it was in a movie, I'd be like, shut the fuck up.
I don't think people realize just how miraculous this event was. They really thought they'd get away with this. How could a 20-year-old kid with no apparent training single-handedly outwit and outmaneuver what is supposed to be the highest security team in the nation? How is it that multiple people spotted Crooks before shots were fired and Secret Service still did nothing? It makes no sense.
Was spotted pacing about an hour before shots were fired at Saturday's campaign rally. This new video obtained by ABC affiliate WTAE appears to show Thomas Crooks pacing back and forth just beyond the boundaries of the rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. About 20 minutes passed between the time security service snipers first spotted Crooks on the roof and the time shots were fired at Trump.
This case reeks to high heaven. Let's break it all down. According to what we know, the shooter, Thomas Matthew Crooks, positioned on a roof just 150 yards from the president, fired multiple shots at Trump. One hit Trump in the ear, with other bullets hitting two other people and killing another, former Fire Chief Corey Comparator. Immediately, there's a lot wrong with this picture just from the video. Right after the shot, you can see a photographer is able to run freely right in front of the stage, just feet away from Trump. Any reasonably competent Secret Service team would have that whole stage surrounded with agents and not allow anybody near Trump. It is just absolutely outrageous that this guy Crooks was able to get on top of the roof with a whole sniper rifle and apparently even set up a ladder on the side of the building to get on top of. Among these bullets that fire out, one hits one of the hydraulics systems of a forklift, it looks like, in the background. And you can actually see this in the film. There's a key part here. There are what sounds like two distinct separate types of gunfire. And there's been an audio analysis by this guy, Chris Martinson, a PhD, who really looked at these shots, and he seems to believe that there are at least two gunmen, even possibly three.
Take a look at what happened.
Wait. Hang on. I'm going to do one more. This is important because now we do not have a lone gunman anymore. Okay? So listen up. Here we go. Possibility that shots 1 and 2, those are fired by Crooks, but somebody about 78 to 100 feet further away took shot 3. Then shots 4 and 5 line up again perfectly, but shot 6, hey, that's off the mark again by the same amount. And, there's not quite the echoes that are happening off of shot 3. We don't see the same. There should be an echo right here. There should be an echo right here. We don't see that, not like these big echoes. So there's a chance here, I'm making a chance that there's a possibility of there were two weapons being fired that are different from the first one. 1, 2, 3 are from weapon 1. Weapon 2 for sure is in a different spot, but there's a possibility because of those times of weapon 3.
We also have evidence of a second shooter from multiple eyewitnesses at the rally who remarked seeing somebody by the water tower.
Sharpshooter shot to the left. He killed the gentleman in the water tower here.
The fence where the other shooter was. There was one I heard in the water tower. There was one by the fence.
And still, obviously, initial reports. But what we do know, according to the...
Look at this footage. You can definitely see something on top of there. And it looks like it moves in time to when the shots go off. And more bizarre than that is that access to the tower was shut off following the rally.
Blocked off before. That's the water tower. Boom. The water tower blocked off.
The same building that Crooks was apparently able to get on freely, inside this very building, there was a whole nother Secret Service team stationed. This same team was supposed to be on top of that roof. So why were they moved inside the building?
That building in particular has a sloped roof at its highest point. And so, there's a safety factor that would be considered there, that we wouldn't want to put somebody up on a sloped roof. And so, the decision was made to secure the building from inside.
With the slopes, you go all up to like 1812, you can go to a 112, which is about as flat as you can get without it being completely flat. And you're saying that there was a danger, safety concern there, but the problem is, Director, you put your counter snipers on a 312 roof, which is steeper than the 112. And by the way, the 112 is ADA compliant. You can build a ramp for a wheelchair on a 112 roof. So these are nothing but pathetic excuses, and they make no sense, and they're a bunch of cow dung. Corey Comparatore life is over because that damn shooter made it on the roof. And it wasn't the roof that was dangerous, it was the nut job on top of the roof. You know what else is dangerous? I believe your horrifying ineptitude and your lack of skilled leadership is a disgrace. Your obfuscating today is shameful. And you should be fired immediately and go back to Garden Doritos. Mr. Chairman, I yield.
When asked if there were explosives in the car, you referred to the FBI. When asked if Crooks was acting alone, you referred to the FBI. See a common theme here? I can go on and on. You know the answers, and you refuse to tell us the answers. What are you covering up? What are you hiding, my friend?
At this point, they're really insulting the intelligence of the public by expecting us all to believe this. We now have body cam footage that was recently released from one of the agents assigned to protect Trump that day, talking about how he specifically warned part of the team that that roof and that building needed to be secured.
We have a unit on the roof.
I told him to post guys over here. You go, bro?
Pissed.
Yeah, I know. I hear you.
We're watching.
I know, yeah.
I couldn't find him.
Also here in this body cam footage, yet another mention of somebody by the water tower. Why is nobody talking about this?
With the backpack on the north side was the gentleman with the flat face that we were looking for earlier. He was creeping people out over Brinkles. He was last seen in the woods by the water tower.
Congress, the FBI, and the Secret Service have also failed to mention this video showing authorities running towards somebody or something right before shots were fired.
Uh-oh. Where are they running to?
Thank you, Trump! Thank you, Trump! Thank you, Trump! Thank you, Trump!
Oh, wow. Where are they running to?
This case just gets so bizarre. The alleged shooter Crooks has no social media, but he was seen in, I shit you not, a BlackRock commercial. Yes, the same BlackRock that monopolizes the investment world and brags about buying off politicians.
They don't want to be in the news. They don't want people to talk about them. They don't want to be anywhere on the radar.
Why not?
I don't know, but I suspect it's probably because it's easier to do things when people aren't thinking about it. Let me tell you, it's not through who's the president. It's who's controlling the wallet. So it's
And who's that?
The hedge funds, BlackRock, the banks. These guys run that.
Here's where it gets even shadier. An investment firm linked to BlackRock called Austin Private Wealth shorted Donald Trump stocks to the tune of 12 million shares on July 12th, just one day before the assassination attempt. This firm was essentially betting on a huge fall on Donald Trump's stock, which would have likely happened had he died. This is incredibly damning proof of prior knowledge. And so, of course, after this news went viral, Austin Private Wealth suddenly goes, "Oh, wait, my bad. We actually meant 1,200 shares, and it was just a clerical error. Nothing to see here." Absolute BS. They got caught, and now they're trying to backtrack. Every detail about this case makes you go, what the fuck? He apparently was able to fly his own drone over the event just hours before the shooting. Oh, and he had 3 encrypted overseas accounts that the FBI said they couldn't get into.
So they have his phone. They say they can't get into his phone. Bitch, I know you read my text messages.
Yeah,
so
why
how
is it taking so long to break into this shit?
Phone? How can you not get in that kid's phone?
It's always shady, right? They always die instantly.
Another odd fact, both of Crooks' parents are professional licensed counselors and had reported him missing the day of the event, which leads more and more to the theory that this guy is some sort of MK Ultra Manchurian candidate patsy.
Thomas Crooks' parents were looking for him in the hours leading up to the shooting. We're now told they eventually called law enforcement to report that Crooks was missing, and they were worried.
We now also know from cell phone records is that someone who visited Crooks' home and work regularly also visited a building that's in the vicinity of an FBI office shortly before the shooting happened.
The Trump thing, the shooter, all the stuff that's coming out about the shooter now, the more you read about it, the more you're like, what? They have organized assassinations before.
Sure.
And when they organize...
Usually starts a war.
Assassinations, it looks just like that. You either hypnotize him or you mentor him, you give him psychiatric drugs, you do a bunch of things, you get him to do it, and you know that once he gets on top of that roof and shoots the president, everyone's going to shoot him. And it's nice and clean.
Possible, though, to program somebody to carry out an assassination attempt without them even remembering it after the fact? Without a doubt. In fact, just ask Dr. Milton Klein, who is a former consultant to the CIA's super secret program, Project Bluebird, that involved behavior modification. He says that not only is it possible, but he could create a patsy in 3 to 6 weeks.
You're asking whether an individual can be, under hypnosis, influenced, coerced, persuaded, shaped to perform an antisocial act, or a destructive act, or an act of violence. My answer would be yes. Train them to use firearms indiscriminately. You could train them to shoot people with very little feeling or thought.
This Dr. Milton Klein also visited Sirhan's jail cell and was able to hypnotize him to the point where he could get him to act like a monkey. Okay? This stuff is very real.
Too hypnotized, too much out of my senses to really be aware of what happened.
It was obvious that he had been programmed to kill Robert Kennedy and programmed to forget that he'd been programmed.
Even English hypnotist and mentalist Darren Brown performed an experiment on live television proving that this is 100% possible.
Is it possible to program somebody to kill and without them realizing it? Conspiracy theorists claim that the CIA hypnotized unsuspecting candidates to carry out assassinations in the 50s and 60s, most notably that of Senator Robert Kennedy. Tonight we'll find out if that's even possible, or just the stuff of movie fiction.
Brown finds a person he believes will be the most susceptible to hypnosis, and he begins using these NLP, or neuro-linguistic programming techniques, to condition the man's brain. He programs certain sounds and images that will trigger this guy's mind to go into assassin mode, basically, whenever he sees or hears one of these triggers.
Upon hearing a specific trigger, he goes into a trance and inhabits the role of a top-level shooter. Each time he enters the marksman mode, he should believe he's back at the rifle range. I want to make sure this happens, so I brought him away from the gun range to this warehouse building to repeat the test.
Now, Brown tries as much as possible to validate this experiment by running a polygraph test on this patsy with a renowned expert to ensure that he isn't lying about his amnesia, and also keeping him aloof of key details about this experiment. So he's using these trigger sounds, and not just once, but twice, Darren Brown is successfully able to hypnotize this guy to carry out an assassination right in public. Fascinating experiment, and more ample proof that Manchurian candidates are not just the stuff of fiction. What really seals the deal for me on this theory, though, is that the CIA actually came out with a headline and said that Crooks was not an MK Ultra Manchurian candidate. Why else would you need to come out with that unless that's exactly what's going on? The final part I want to cover about this might just be the strangest. Multiple videos from people who attended Trump's rally that day caught something pretty crazy in the background. In these videos, you clearly see something that looks metallic and saucer-shaped zooming by in the background during all of this chaos. It really looks like a UFO, and it appears legit because it was seen from multiple angles too. They're also moving way too fast to be drones, so what are they? We'll never know for sure if these are UFOs, but my research has shown that these objects often show up during key moments in dangerous situations. They've been known to, even from high-ranking government officials, to completely disarm nuclear systems. It is astounding how many videos there are also of UFOs around volcanoes, to the point that it appears that they're interacting with the volcanoes somehow. Just look at all these clips. It's pretty unreal. You can even see in one of these vids that a UFO flashes at a certain spot on a volcano, and then hours later, a vent appears at that precise point where the flash of light was, releasing steam and seemingly designed to mitigate an eruption from this volcano. Really appreciate you guys checking out my deep dive. Be sure to love tap that subscribe and like button. Until next time, friends, I leave you with these words of wisdom.
You know what's interesting about Assassination? Well, not only does it change those popularity polls in a big fucking hurry, but it's also interesting to notice who it is we assassinate. Do you ever notice who it is? Stop to think of who it is we kill. It's always people who've told us to live together in harmony and try to love one another. Jesus, Gandhi, Lincoln, John Kennedy, Bobby Kennedy, Martin Luther King, Medgar Evers, Malcolm X, John Lennon. They all said, try to live together peacefully. Bam! Right in the fucking head. Apparently, we're not ready for that. Yeah, that's difficult behavior for us.